Have you heard the saying from rags to riches? Well, I'm going to tell you the perfect example. Her name is Ruby Percival, and she is my 95-year-old great-grandmother. She didn't have the best life growing up, but she always managed to keep her head up and keep a smile on her face. She always made sure the people that she loves have whatever they need. She doesn't want anyone to ever have to go without like she did. Let's start from the very beginning. With her being born in 1925, right before the Great Depression, that really shows how her early life started. She is the third child of 4. She would have had an older brother, but he was stillborn. She had an older sister named Ruth and a younger brother named Jack. She grew up in a very poor household. She mostly stayed with her grandmother because her dad worked all the time. When her dad wasn't working, he was drinking, which made him the dad that she was not very proud of. Because she stayed with her grandmother, she always had flour sack dresses and had hardtack biscuits, or survival bread, which is a type of biscuit made with flour, water, and salt. It is used when there wasn't enough perishable items. These biscuits were so hard that her grandmother would soak them in coffee to soften them up. She started drinking coffee when she was 5, so she's been drinking coffee for 90 years. When she was 12, her grandfather was ran over and killed by a train. The only way she was able to go to school was because her dad worked at a local school in Oklahoma called Goodland. It was primarily an Indian school. Some history on Goodland. It was originally called Yakni Akuma, which translated in Choctaw means good land. And as the community grew, the most important concern for the Indian people was education of the children. Goodland was also an orphanage. The orphan children were boarded by families on the property so they could receive the education they deserved. She says that the most exciting memory she has is when the Choctaw Indian Band would practice in their yard. They were bright, bold colors and had beautiful, giant headpieces. In 1943, she moved to Hugo, Oklahoma, which was her senior year. She ended up graduating valedictorian of her class. Now that you know about her early life, we can start to talk about how her adult life was going. After she graduated, she was offered a job from a neighbor to work at a telephone company. She told the neighbor that she was not 18 yet, and the lady told her that they would figure something out. She started working as a switchboard operator in May of 1943. With her first paycheck, she bought herself a Baby Ruth candy bar. She was offered a management position, but after a short time, she realized that it wasn't for her. Because of her roots, she thought management made her look better than others, and she just could not deal with that. She was a very humble lady. Since then, she has saved her money. When she was around 19 years old, she married a man with 2 small children. But she had to work because her husband was very greedy with his money. He would only give her enough money for small amounts of food and other small items. She continued to work so she could provide for her family. They had 2 kids together. However, they did divorce when she was 39 years old. After she divorced, she met another man and they started dating. He was very possessive and didn't want her to be around anyone else but him. One night they were in the car and he purposely tried to run head-on into another vehicle. He was trying to kill her and himself. After the man tried to kill her, she met a man named A.W., but we just called him Jigs. They met while working at a telephone company. His wife had recently passed away. Grandma was a single mom for 6 years. She always made sure her girls never went without anything. She worked double shifts just to make sure that they had everything they needed and wanted. They got married in 1970. Together they bought several rent houses and bought them all with cash. They both saved money working and buying rent houses. She retired from the telephone company in 1977 and started working at Merrill Norman Cosmetics. When she left Merrill Norman after the owner retired, she began working for a local dress shop. One day the owner did not show up for work, so Grandma went to find her, and she had found that she had passed away in her home. In 1994, Jigs, the love of her life, passed away unexpectedly. Her life started off pretty rough, but after she found the man that she truly loved, it began to get a little bit better. Now for the most recent aspect of her life. In 2006, she moved to Paris, Texas, and has lived there ever since. To this day, she lives alone and does all of her household chores. The only thing that she doesn't do is cook and drive. She worked from the age of 17 until 80. She never went out looking for a job. People who knew her and her work ethic would offer her these positions. She has 6 grandchildren and 12 great-grandchildren, me being one of the great. She gets daily visits from one of her daughters, or my nonna. My mom and my brother and I go almost every other weekend to visit. My aunt and her 2 kids visit a few times a week. She is very well loved and has so many people who call and visit her all the time. Her main goal is to make sure that everyone she loves has whatever they need. When my parents were going through their divorce, we didn't have the best way of life. So she would buy us food, clothes, and other necessary items. She made sure that all of her grandkids went to college and gave them enough money so they can start their journey. She really wants all of her great-grandkids to go also. So every year on her birthday, she puts money in college funds for us. She was the one who actually paid for this class. Now you all know why I said From Rags to Riches is the perfect example of her life. Money changes people. Even though she is not in the rags part of this saying anymore, it has never changed her, and she always remembers where she came from. You have to work for what you get. That's what she has taught me. She never flaunt her money, and she never will. So not very many people my age still have their great-grandmothers. She loves her family beyond words and would give anything to make sure that we have whatever she needs. I am very blessed to have her in my life. My great-grandma Ruby is a very special lady.